here at halftime as the Payson Lions get warm again for the second half. Chris, I kind of want to join them out there, but I think that might really look weird here as we're on the sidelines here, less than 2 minutes before kickoff of the second half. Spanish Fork and the Payson Lions, the Dons, right now in the driver's seat to control the number 4 spot and have a date with East High next week.
Right, and it's been a very cool night here tonight, so both teams hopefully warming up well so that there's no injuries here in the second half. And you know, in a game like this where unless Payson catches fire in a hurry, it looks like Spanish Fork's going to win. You hope for no injuries and just you know, a clean play. And I was expecting the game to be a little more chippy tonight than it has been.
Definitely, no doubt. Let's take a quick moment here. Let's thank our sponsors, The Car Guys, for sponsoring all of The Car Guys instant replays that you've enjoyed throughout this game and the rest of the second half. We do want to thank MVP Sports for the MVP of the game. That one will be named at the conclusion of our broadcast. Lance Wilson State Farm. Keep watching for the Lance Wilson State Farm assists of the game as we go throughout this one. We do want to thank Two Jacks Pizza, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, and our good friends here at Spanish Fork 17, who tonight are braving the conditions here at Payson. The fortunate thing, we haven't really had any rain, or at least I haven't felt any yet, but I don't want to say that too soon because we still have another 24 minutes of football.
And I also want to remind our viewers that you can catch this game at a later time on YouTube.com, or also you can watch these broadcasts that are provided by the Spanish Fork Community Network on YouTube and then on
FSCN.org.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I'll sit down and take a break because my brain has gone numb from the coldness.
It's okay, Chris. You know, the players have to keep their legs warm. I think we need to keep our brains warm.
Our vocal cords warm as well.
So we're definitely ready to go here for the second half. The Payson Lions getting ready to kick. Leo Saili, the lone Don, back deep, standing about his goal line. Buck Frazier right next to us, making sure that arm is warm and ready to go. On a night like tonight, Chris, you think of it probably takes a few more throws on the sidelines than it did back in that that last week in August.
Yeah, it does, definitely. In August, you're more worried about cramps. Tonight, you're more worried about staying warm. But both teams are young and all in high school, so they should be fine with the weather conditions.
It's going to be Tuller putting a foot into it. He's going to do kind of a short end-over-end kick. It's going to be bobbled at the 20-yard line. That's a loose football picked up by the Dons. Here's Saili on the return. He's going to get out around the 40-yard line or so. As you just see that big kind of green pile mixed with white. And officially, they're going to give him the 45. Wow, I'm kind of surprised that they let that one go on that long, but Spanish Fork with good field position with 11:46 to go here in the third quarter, just underway. Thanks for joining us here on a Thursday night, the final regular season game for the Spanish Fork Dons.
But great hustle by Saili on that return. He's the deep man on that play, and he came up screaming down the field to pick that up, that fumble up. If he wouldn't have been Johnny on the spot that time, that could have turned disastrous for the Dons.
Nate Kiesel at quarterback for Spanish Fork. 3 wide receiver sets. Jackson Higginson goes in motion across the field. They're going to set up the screen pass to get it out there. Looks like Way Stanton on the carry. Salofa Funa inside the 40. He gets to the 38-yard line. That's a first down there. Once again, the Dons go to simple, giving Payson plenty of different looks.
And that screenplay, they've ran it in like 3 different formations, 3 different variations, but it's worked every time as the Lions are content to bring a lot of pressure in this game. 1st and 10, the ball on the 38. Now whistles blow here, and we'll see what the call is here. And I thought that was a good point that Ken and Sam talked about. You know, the good thing about here giving Payson a lot of different looks is that makes it really difficult for East next week is we get an illegal procedure call against the Dons. Right, yeah, East will have to prepare for a lot. And, you know, Spanish Fork can spread the ball with those spread formations, and then at the same time they can line up with the 3 horses in the backfield and hand it off to Jensen. That's been very successful, and they've had some good pass plays, especially last week against Wasatch out of that formation. 1st down and 15. It's Kiesel going to keep it. He's going to roll outside. Now be pressure. He's going to throw it up. One-on-one down the sideline. In and out of the hands. Incomplete there. Tanner Argyle running step for step. Caleb Kirkpatrick in coverage, and that one was just kind of thrown just a little bit outside of Argyle's fingertips. There's a flag down back in the middle of the field. Yeah, but, you know, that was about the only spot that Kiesel could put that ball where the defender's not going to get it, so I'd say that's a good pass. Ineligible man downfield, it looks like. I believe that's what one of the ref goes
goes to his hat or his head.
Yeah, I didn't see him make the signal, but you're right, and that is
And this is the last thing you really want to do when you've played a pretty clean first half with penalties. You had a couple here and there, but this is the last thing you want to do is keep driving yourself back heading into that. You don't want to practice bad habits.
Right. And the Dons have done that multiple times where they get driving this season and then they have back-to-back penalties. And that puts you in some precarious situations where you're in first and forever, second and forever, and we're in another one of these right now.
First down and 20 for Nate Kiesel. He's going to take the snap. He's going to look down the field, looking deep, inside for the slot receiver, and in and out of the hands there. Kirkpatrick running with Brooks Ringer. That one incomplete.
Yeah, pretty good coverage down there. Ringer had a step early, but the secondary for Payson recovered nicely. And Kiesel showing off his arm once again. But, it's, at some point I wonder if Spanish goes to some of those shorter pass plays we've seen where, especially Isaac Pendleton's thrived. I think that might loosen up the defense so that they can go deep.
So it's going to be now 2nd and 20. That's something we saw the Spanish Fork early on in the season, Chris, have a lot of success with that little 8 to 10 yard curl route. We haven't seen it as much. Lions look like they're coming. They get it out quickly. Right as I say that, here's Higginson. Higginson's going to get thrown down right around the original line of scrimmage, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and long.
I didn't know the coaching staff actually watched these broadcasts, but once again, we're able to predict the next play. That's
every now and then, Chris, the broadcasters come up with a good idea. More oftentimes you than me.
Well, thank you, Ryan. I'll take that as a compliment. And this is a critical 3rd down and 11 here for Spanish Fork.
3rd and 11. Don's looking for the marker. They got to get inside the 30 to around the 27-yard line, maybe the 28 even. Kiesel steps back to pass, has some time looking. It's going to be close, and it looks like it's batted down, incomplete 4th down.
A pretty good coverage by the outside linebacker for Payson, 56. Looks like Adam Mark that was dropped back into that zone coverage and was able to bat that away, forcing the Dons to punt.
4th down and 11, and Way Stanton will come on to punt. Earlier in the game, we kind of saw him act like he was going to fake it and then decide to punt. We haven't seen him fake it probably since, I want to say, that Orem game. And that's going to be a high-end over-end kick. It's going to take a bounce, and it's going to go into the end zone right before Nate Mattis is able to get to it. And so Payson's going to bring the ball out to the 20-yard line. Buck Frazier and the Lions have some work to do here in the 3rd.
Right, and if Payson wants to get back in this game, I think they've got to do it on this drive. They'll need some points on this drive to, give them some momentum and help get their defense off the field, because they were on the field for a lot of that first half, and I don't know how much more pressure they can take in this ball game, because they'll have to stop the Dons about every drive.
And one thing you have to give Payson credit for, Chris, is Payson really hasn't turned the ball over tonight. That's been a very, I think, helpful thing to the Lions, but we'll see what happens here. Here's the carry outside of Bryson Tanner, and Tanner's going to he's going to keep dragging his legs, but he's going to lose a couple yards there on 1st down.
Trujillo with the tackle that time from his defensive tackle position. Great job by the Dons getting in that backfield of Payson and making sure there was nothing the Lions could do that time.
Now bring up a 2nd down and about 13 here, as they're going to mark him back at around the 17-yard line. The hash marks just sit kind of in the middle of the field here. They're not on the sidelines here at Payson.
That's kind of interesting, isn't it?
So sometimes it's just kind of a...
Yeah, the line, well...
Yeah, it's right at the 18-yard line. Looks like 2nd and 12. Frazier from shotgun, single back to his right, Bryson Tanner. Frazier back to throw. There's the screen pass. We saw that a lot in the first half. Sorensen trying to get outside. He's going to get to around the 25-yard line, and then a whole host of Dons able to get there to make the stop.
Yeah, great job by Jess Barclay, though, making sure he made that tackle as he wraps up well, bringing up this 3rd down.
So you see there on the Car Guys instant replay. Nice job. Sorensen's an athlete there. He's made some good plays tonight for Payson. He's been kind of all over the field at wide receiver, defensive back, also on the punt and kick coverage as well.
Right, and this Payson team, they just practice as hard as anybody else, I'm sure. It's just, a matter of not having as much depth and possibly talent, but there's still some weapons on this team.
3rd down and 4. Payson looking to try to convert, keep this drive alive. They have 3 receivers top, high snap, and Frazier lost it, diving for it. It's going to be loose, and I think Spanish Fork recovered, but we'll see.
If they did, it would be Harmon. He nearly jumped on that ball, but I don't know how Buck Frazier got back on that.
And it's going to bring up, either way, it's going to bring up 4th down as Frazier able to find his way to it here. We'll see how this one on the Car Guys instant replay, but right there you see Frazier lost it at first, and then just gets back on it before Harmon. He must have been a second effort because Harmon looked like he was right on top of it there. Yeah. I know they're going to say it was Spanish Fork ball.
They did recover it. Great job by Harmon getting that recovery. He's been awesome from his defensive tackle position all season long, as it looks like Riener's the quarterback.
Ringer going to take the direct quarterback keeper, trying to get outside, cuts it back up inside. He's going to be brought down around the 14-yard line. Some extracurricular activity, and there's a flag. And this one probably going against the Lions. And this is probably where you're going to see that's probably a frustration penalty right there.
And you don't want to see this in a game that's been clean so far, because these two teams are, crosstown, well, not crosstown, but next to each other, and they've been rivals forever. I mean, this is the 95th meeting.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, you see it. I mean, you see it all the time when something happens. You see guys for Payson saying, "Hey, good job," giving the slap on the helmet and that as well. But yeah, kind of a frustration penalty, and now it's going to bring up a 1st down and 10 for Spanish Fork inside the 10 at around the 7-yard line. A touchdown here, Chris, will probably put this one out of reach.
Right, and the Payson coaching staff did not like that call at all.
Shotgun set here. It's going to be Ringer again, this time going over the right side. He's going to be pulled down in the backfield, tries to do a second effort. There's a whole lot of green there, but...
And you're not talking about the grass.
No, unfortunately not. A lot of the all-green jerseys for the Payson Lions tonight.
Yeah, and the defense is still playing hard for Payson out there as they just clog the middle, and we'll see if they switch quarterbacks here. They do. Kiesel comes into the game.
So Kiesel comes in. It looks like Jackson Higginson runs in from the sidelines as well. 7:44 to go in the 3rd quarter. Spanish Fork looking to try to see if they can't put this one away here in the 3rd and get ready for East next weekend at Salt Lake City. 4 receivers on the play. Here's the give. Heredia got the carry, and he got nowhere. He is put back for at least a 2-yard loss back to the 8-yard line. Payson blew that one up right up the gut, and they knew exactly where Spanish Fork was going with that.
Number 11, Jamison Judd, you'll see him fly in there on the instant replay, but Heredia did just good enough to get the ball. When I saw that ball, it's not very far away from us, maybe 40 yards away, just bouncing around.
We do want to thank MVP Sports for the MVP of the game here, for their sponsorship here on Spanish Fork 17. Help make this broadcast possible. Looking for that MVP of the game. We'll see if Spanish Fork can come up with an MVP type play right here, as it's going to be 3rd and goal from the 9. Kiesel from shotgun. He's going to step back to throw. Throwing the fader out, looking for Christensen. He caught it. Touchdown, Spanish Fork, Braden Christensen.
Yeah, great job by Christensen locating the ball in the corner of the end zone there and coming down, finding a way to come up with the touchdown catch. And Kiesel put it in the one spot he needed to put it in.
Right there. I mean, that's a great caliber throw right there. And there was a tough play there for number 3 for Payson, but he just couldn't quite get there. And now that's going to bring on James Daw for the point after touchdown try. His last one clanked off the left upright, but then somehow got over for the extra point. This one is good as well. And with 6:38 to go here in the 3rd, Spanish Fork 34, Payson 8. And Chris, you just kind of have a feeling that with that touchdown, the life that was in the stadium coming into the second half, it seemed like it just kind of got sucked out.
Yeah, it kind of got sucked out, and that might just be the play that broke, the camel's back, so to speak, is the Lions. They're down here on the sidelines. Looks like some of them are down on knees. They've got their hands folded. They don't have as much energy as they did coming out of the half.
So now they'll have an opportunity with the football. Let's take a quick moment here to thank our sponsors with 6:38 to go here in the 3rd.
Well, this game is sponsored by Lance Wilson, and he's providing the assist of the game. We've seen a few of them, and that time Kiesel assisted Christensen on the pass for a Lance Wilson State Farm assist.
We also want to thank Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing for helping make this broadcast possible here on Spanish Fork 17.
Two Jack's Pizza down on Main Street has some good pizza, and that's sounding good right now.
They brought some pregame to us. Once I got here, I indulged before the game as the return by the Payson up back, and the Lions are going to get, once again, good field position out across the 35-yard line. Chris, I've used that term throughout the season, the up back. Do you want to explain maybe a little bit about what the up back is for our viewers at home?
Yeah, so the up back is the guy that's blocking for the deep back. So the guy that's going to normally return it, they call him the returner sometimes, is the guy that's the farthest back. The up back's usually 10, 15, maybe 20 yards depending on your formation, and his primary responsibility is to block or pick up the ball if it's a short kick.
So now 1st and 10, ball on the 38-yard line for Payson. The Lions are going to drop back to throw, being pressured now, trying to do something with it. Frazier goes down the field but throws it incomplete over to the Spanish Fork sideline. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 10. The Dons seem to be kind of bringing up the pressure here, and this is kind of one of those situations where it's going to be interesting to see how Payson handles it. If Payson continues to play, or whether or not it's kind of maybe some of that starts to, maybe some of the idea of the score kind of starts to set in.
Right, and when you think of pressure, you think of sacks, but you don't necessarily need to get a sack every time, because that play clearly was disrupted by the pressure because Frazier had to roll out on the run and was unable to find anybody downfield and just threw it away. So
2nd down and 10, 6:26 to go here in the second. Frazier once again right up the middle and getting a couple of yards there is Tanner on the carry. But he maybe, like I said, gets 2, and maybe that's being favorable.
Yeah, and Spanish Fork has put up the Berlin Wall on this Payson run game. They just have not been able to get the ball rolling on the run game at all.
So it's something here to set up a big 3rd down for the Payson Lions, as they're going to need 10. They've had success tonight at times going down the field with their passing game. It's definitely been more effective than the running game. Buck Frazier from the shotgun will have one back to his right. He's going to have 3 wide receivers on the play. Frazier steps back, 3-step drop, looking to go down the field. Got him, man, that one's intercepted. Here comes, it looks like Devin Argyle. Inside the 25. In fact, no, I'm sorry. That is number 20, Bryce Larson. Larson gets inside the 30-yard line, and that might have been the final nail in the coffin if you're the Payson Lions.
Yeah, Bryce Larson coming up with his 2nd INT on the season. And, Spanish Fork early on, they were ball hawks, and they'll need to create some turnovers in the playoffs as this season continues. But great job by Bryce Larson in his linebacker position, dropping back and finding the guy in his zone and going ahead and making that INT happen.
And that's going to be a big one. There's going to be a holding call, looks like, here against Spanish Fork, which is going to move the interception return back. So instead of being around the 30-yard line, the Dons will start right around midfield, exactly right on the 50-yard line with 5:33 to go in the 3rd quarter. 34-8. Spanish Fork looking to try to settle up the number 4 spot in Region 8 and get a date with East High next week. Kiesel on the pitch, gets it outside. Here's Tuita. He's going to get to the 35, cuts back inside to around the 42-yard line, picks up around 8. He'll bring up a 2nd and 2.
I know we mentioned this earlier, but it's great to see him back on the field for the Dons. He's been hurt most of the season, but he's a weapon that they can utilize. He's quick, he's fast, he's athletic, and is kind of a change of pace guy there at wide receiver and running back.
Going to be one of those guys you're going to see do a little bit of everything coming up here. 5:06 to go, clock running. Sorry, in the 3rd quarter, I should say. One more touchdown, and I believe that clock will continue to run throughout.
Yeah, it's the mercy rule where it runs from 35 points on, and it doesn't stop till the other team closes the gap to 21, I believe.
3 wide receivers for Kiesel. He's going to go 3-step drop, sets up the screen, gets it out there, flag down. Heredia's got the 30-yard line down the sideline, steps out of bounds, but this one likely coming back.
It's looked like an ineligible receiver, but was that a hold they called that time?
I didn't see. I didn't.
That's the one problem with being down here on the field is we can't always see the refs.
It looks like, I want to say they signaled something that said 6-0, so I want to say it's either an ineligible or a holding penalty.
Either way, it negates a huge Sam Heredia catch and run.
And that's definitely something that Spanish Fork will have to eliminate as playoff time rolls around. It's going to be hard to go beat a region champion, Chris. And we saw it last year. Maple Mountain was the number 4 seed. Heading into Woods Cross, that number 4 against the number 1, you have to play a good game against the number 1 seed.
You do indeed. And Maple Mountain gave him a battle in the first half, but Woods Cross was just too much for him.
Heredia trying to do it again, but another flag comes in right around the same spot. And Heredia once again getting a pretty good gain, a good 10-yard gain, and now they're probably moving back another 10.
Yeah, it looks like this one's coming back as well, as it'll be in manageable second, probably about 40.
We'll see here. Ineligible receiver downfield. And we're trying to see here if they'll bring up second down. So once again now, I mean, Chris, it worked out earlier if you're Spanish Fork. You were in that huge second and long, and you're able to convert,
right.
But you don't want to, this is the last thing you want to do in the final, quarter and a half of your regular season is practice all these bad habits that are going to set up for the postseason.
Yeah, you got to keep your screen man behind the line of scrimmage, and that's, I think, where the miscue has been so far tonight.
Second and 22. They're going to spread the field with 3 wide receivers. Here's a pitch outside. Tuita tries to get past the first one, and he does. Cuts back, still on his feet. Wow, he's just quick as he gets out to the 43-yard line. He was making some cuts there that I was looking at, and a flag comes in late.
Well, this is the 3rd time in a row. We might be playing
personal
second down.
Foul against Spanish Fork, and so now that's going to bring it back to it now at least a second and about
well, they need
37.
They need to get down clear to the Payson 41. And I can't tell what yard line they're starting at from this angle, but looks like they're going to be close to about the 15.
They're going to be back there a ways.
No, sorry.
It's going to be around the 27-yard line.
27-yard line.
Still is going to set up around a second, and I believe about 37.
And this is where you don't need to get all the yards here on second down, but you probably need to get 15 to have a realistic shot on 3rd down.
Kiesel from the shotgun. He's going to roll out now. Away from the pressure, he's going to look to go downfield. He's got a man out there, and he overthrew him. Oh, running down the middle was, believe that was Braden Christensen, number 5, and he was running free. Him and Colt Condi both had a couple of steps on the Payson corners there, and it was just whether or not Kiesel was going to be able to put enough on it, and now it brings up a 3rd and 32.
And Kiesel did put enough on it. It's 4th down, actually, now. So we'll see Stanton here to punt, but he put enough on that pass. I think maybe the wind caught it. We've got a nice wind going on right now.
Wade Stanton puts a foot into it at the 15-yard line. It's going to go all the way back and take a nice Spanish Fork bounce, and it's going to roll dead around the 26-yard line with 3:34 to go here in the 3rd quarter. It's Spanish Fork 38, Payson 8. The Dons on the road tonight to finish up the regular season. They head probably back on the road next week as well to play East in what should be a fun first-round game. Right now, Springville definitely the number 1 seed. Wasatch has clinched the number 2 spot. 3 and 4 still kind of in limbo stage, but if everybody takes care of business, crosstown rivals Maple Mountain and Spanish Fork going to finish 3rd and 4th.
Well, and to your point, Spanish Fork's not that far out of the scene. They only lost to Maple Mountain and Springville by 2 points each. If they could have found a way to just get a field goal in those games, they'd have a home game.
Frazier going deep down the sideline, running Stetson Smith, and that one incomplete there. It looks like maybe a miscommunication as they were trying to get the ball out to number 3, but it goes incomplete.
This has been a very competitive region this year. Wasatch, Maple Mountain, Spanish Fork, Springville, Salem Hills. I don't think there's a whole lot that separates them. I think Springville just probably executed just slightly at a higher level, was able to run the ball with their running attack, and that's why they're the region champs. But honestly, when we watched Springville and Wasatch both at Spanish Fork, I couldn't tell much difference between the 2 teams.
Well, I think there's one thing, too, when you take a look at it, Chris. You brought up a good point. It was a very close game with this Spanish Fork team and all the other teams right now sitting atop of them. Here's a carry for Bryson Tanner. He's going to get about 3 or 4. And I think that's, does kind of show a little bit of the strength of, Region 8 and how tough it is. But I think it also shows this Spanish Fork team's maybe 3 plays away from being number 1 in the region right now.
Exactly. And the other thing is you know, the bottom two teams was Uinta and Payson, but Uinta gave a lot of teams a battle. I think their problem was they just didn't have enough depth to keep up in the second half. As we saw them play well against Springville, we saw them play well against Spanish Fork. So,
third down and about 5 coming up. Whistles blow here before the play, and we'll see what the situation is here. Looks like they're just stopping the clock to get a substitution made here by Spanish Fork. Fafuna kind of confused here. Now he'll run off the field. Mace Funa runs back on. Third down and 5 for Payson. Frazier back to pass with some time. Throws that one. It's going to be tipped up and almost intercepted. Diving and trying to come up with it was Mace Funa, but it goes incomplete, and that's going to bring up 4th and 5.
And Mace Funa has 5 INTs on the season, and he's took 3 of those to the house. So, you know, he's looking to break the all-time record for interceptions returned for touchdowns. I believe the state record's 4 in a season and 4 in a career.
So he'll have plenty of shot with only being a freshman. He'll have another 3 years, and he's going to be a key anchor on this Spanish Fork defense next year.
He is indeed.
Mortensen on to punt. We heard that he'll be a key contributor on this Payson basketball team here coming a few weeks. High snap. Mortensen gets it down. They're going to try the fake punt again. This one's intercepted. This one could be going back for a touchdown at the 20 to the 10. It's Stetson Smith, and he is going to be brought down inside the 5 at around the 2.5-yard line. It's going to be 1st and goal for the Dons.
Now, the difference between the first fake punt and the second fake punt was the element of surprise. That time the Dons were looking for that tight end, and Smith stayed with him that time, and that's why they were able to come up with the INTs. You saw he clearly was aware that was a possibility since it worked well the first time. And Payson fooled him once, but they definitely didn't fool him twice.
1 yard away from a touchdown if you're Stetson Smith, but now we'll turn it back over to the offense. The Dons trying to punch this one in. This could be maybe the final time tonight that we see the starting offense in the regular season. They're going to go in that big package with Braden Christensen, Mace Funa in there, Salofa Funa in there as well. My guess is this is going up the middle to Heredia. Kiesel under center. He's going to turn. Here's the give. Heredia trying to get it in. Does he?
Just short.
And he's just going to be a half a yard short there as Heredia has worked hard all year. We haven't seen a ton of him. We've seen him kind of at times, but you're kind of one of those things. He works hard, and you'd like to see him finish the season off for the touchdown.
Right, and he's a definite change of pace back for Spanish Fork, as he is, he's only 5'6", but he's a senior. He's played hard all season along with a lot of kids that don't get opportunities. You know, you don't see the kids that are playing hard on scout team to get the varsity ready or in the JV games. So that's great to see Heredia get a carry here.
Payson looks like they're selling out the run. Here's Heredia. His time he walks in. Touchdown, Spanish Fork.
And that will do it. Pretty much.
Heredia in from a yard out makes the score 40-8 here right now in favor of Spanish Fork with 1:36 to go in the third. And this is kind of one of those performances you want to see that Spanish Fork offense say, hey, we can put up 40 against you. That's going to build some confidence heading into the playoffs.
It definitely builds some confidence. The other thing it does is now they've got a huge lead. They don't have to play for 8 more days up at East, so now they can get some of those guys, younger guys, some varsity experience.
James Daw on for the extra point, and he gets this one through with 1:36 to go before the end of the third quarter. 41-8 in favor of Spanish Fork. And this is just one of those situations where, Chris, you saw we're going to see a lot of the second string. We're going to see a lot of some of the JV guys that come up, and this is going to give them a good opportunity to get some varsity time. Because when you really take a look at it, this is the final game of the regular season for those seniors. All of a sudden, they're going to start handing that torch over to those younger guys, and this is a great opportunity to get some varsity time.
It is a great opportunity, and it's a great time to, hey, Mom, guess what? I got in the varsity game this week. I'm, a junior or I'm a sophomore, and it gets them excited to play not only, football in some of those JV games. I know the JV season's over, but it gets them excited, for those winter workouts, those spring workouts, those summer practices, the summer camps.
And so it's definitely kind of something too as well. And Chris, I don't think we talk about it as much as we see it. Football maybe, and really high school sports in general, isn't really a 4-month season anymore. You have, we talked about it with you know, we heard from one of the Payson basketball coaches at halftime how they play 100+ games in the summer, and then you get summer baseball and football with 7-on-7s. High school sports is much more than just a 4-month commitment anymore. Here's a return for the Payson Lions, getting outside across the 35-yard line. 4 Dons right there to make the stop, as it looks like it was Hechaori on the carry, or on the return.
Now, if they had made that extra point, we'd be running the mercy rule right now, and the clock would run as long as, you know, the possession hadn't ended and we were switching places. But so Payson, if they want to avoid that, has got to get a score here, because it looks like Spanish Fork's offense might be unstoppable.
First down and 10. Frazier's going to pitch it outside Bryson Tanner, and he gets met in the backfield, and he will lose about 4. And once again, some pushing and shoving going on, some definitely frustration. Nobody likes to lose, much less when you're losing by, you know, 34. You definitely don't like it.
Right, and this is a rivalry game. I mean, these two schools have been rivals ever since, you know, Brother Brigham told some of these people to settle in Payson and some to settle in Spanish Fork in probably the 1850s. I mean, seriously, these two towns have been rivals for a long, long time. It even predates this football series that started in 1917.
Yeah, I mean, when you really think of it, I mean, that's the thing you get maybe in some of these smaller towns that you don't get maybe up in the Salt Lake City or even the Provo area. Here's a double pass being attempted, and it's going to be thrown up and almost intercepted again. That one was thrown. It looks like Matthew Van Moose was going to try to throw the double pass, and he got immediately hit, and then he tried to throw something up almost into the hands of the Spanish Fork Dons.
Yes, Payson's trying anything to get the ball moved, because conventional plays have really not worked for them tonight, and I'm assuming all season, as they've really struggled all season long to put points on the board.
Third down and about 14 coming here for the Payson Lions. They're going to need to get out around the 44-yard line or so to convert.
Right. Payson's only got into double-digit scoring 3 times this season.
Shotgun set. Here's kind of the rollout by Frazier. He's going to look down the field. That one's going to be high tipped and almost intercepted. And it's going to go incomplete, bring up 4th down.
Once again, Payson will be forced to punt here. I'll be curious to see who Spanish Fork plays the rest of this game at quarterback, because that, you know, you don't want to get Kiesel and Reiner injured. I wonder if we'll see Carson Chappell coming into the game.
And that's definitely something to kind of keep an eye on, because you would think here with the 4th quarter coming, you know, and that you're thinking it's got to be kind of hard. It's like in baseball, that final game before the end of spring training. You want to get all your guys in there to get enough at-bats to stay fresh, but yet not enough where they're going to get hurt. Here's Mortensen on the punt. He gets the punt again, once again over towards the sideline. Running over is going to be Way Stanton from the 30. He's going to make a man miss the 35, out across the 40, 45, 50. He's going to come down the sideline, cuts him back through, and then he's going to get brought down from behind inside the 30. And there's whistles once again blowing as I'm trying to look to see if there's flags on the play. I didn't see any.
I didn't see any flags either, but man, both teams are really going after it tonight. They're a little chippy. There is a legal block in the back.
So once again, Way Stanton, we'll try to see here on the Car Guys instant replay if we see where it came in. Ooh, I didn't see it on the replay, but I'm sure it happened. And now 13.5 seconds. Spanish Fork will try to come out with this drive. Here, 3rd quarter, 41-8. Spanish Fork ending the season here in Payson before the start of the state playoffs. Definitely going to be exciting. Maple Mountain at home tomorrow night for Salem Hills. Brooks Ringer in there at quarterback. That Maple Mountain game will be on K-Jazz, so that won't be here on Spanish Fork 17 or 16. And whistles blow immediately as that one was snapped. And Chris, I mean, definitely something we talked about, a relatively clean first half, but here in the 3rd quarter, a lot of penalties for Spanish Fork.
Yeah, there has been, and it's not just been one penalty, it's been plays with back-to-back penalties. They'd have the ball up here close to the 30, the Payson 30. Instead, they're back clear on the other side of the field.
Chris, I think between the third and fourth quarter, I'm going to go run a wind sprint or two.
Be careful, Ryan. It's windy.
They're going to throw that one incomplete there, as trying to get it out of his hands was, I believe that was a ringer once again. That one goes incomplete, brings up a third down.
Do you want to borrow my second set of gloves? No.
You know, Chris, that would have been appreciated if you had a second set of gloves. So second down and 15, 5.9 seconds to go. Likely the final play of the third quarter coming here from Payson High School. Brooks Ringer and the Dons will break the huddle. An opportunity here as you do see some of maybe the non-starters in there at wide receiver, as Spanish Fork's been substituting quite a bit at receiver tonight. As Ringer is going to give it right up the middle. Here's Tuita at the 40-yard line to the 50. He's got some wheels, and he's going to be shoved out of bounds after picking up a first down, and that's going to end the third quarter. So the Dons have taken full control here. They score twice more here in the third. At the end of 3 here, and we're going to have a penalty here before we go to break. Nope, I guess not. Okay, at the end of the third quarter, Spanish Fork 41, Payson 8. You're watching high school football here on the Spanish Fork Community Network.
In Spanish Fork, see your good neighbor State Farm agent Lance Wilson for your insurance and financial needs.
Hi, welcome to 2 Jack's Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to 2 Jack's Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet? Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork. You know Triple T Heating and Cooling, but did you know that Triple T does plumbing? From tankless hot water, soft water, and reverse osmosis drinking water systems, right down to that leaky faucet. Triple T sure does plumbing. Call Triple T at 801-798-7711 today. MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Start of the fourth quarter here on Spanish Fork 17, Spanish Fork 41, Payson 8 as we start the fourth quarter. Chris Hirsch joining us momentarily as he was on snack time. You know, it's okay, Chris. You know, we understand. You know, it's been a long game and everything like that. Let's take a moment to thank our sponsors, the Car Guys, for all the Car Guys instant replays. Lance Wilson, State Farm from MVP Sports, 2 Jack's Pizza, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, and Spanish Fork 17. We thank you for your support of high school athletics throughout the season. Of course, we have the MVP Sports MVP of the game coming up here at the conclusion of this broadcast. It could be kind of hard maybe tonight to come up with one. Really, we need to take a look at the performance of Spanish Fork.
Yeah,
tonight.
there's been tons of great performers tonight. Landon Jensen's had a couple of touchdown runs. I know he got it last week. That makes it a little more difficult to get. And also, you know, they've spread the love with Riener had a touchdown run earlier. He's also played well, and Kiesel's had that that touchdown pass to Christensen earlier in the game. Heredia had his 1-yard touchdown pass, and the defense has been playing very well as we've had a couple of INTs tonight as well.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 Spanish Fork from the 45-yard line. And here's the give. Tuita is going to try to get outside of the 35 or to the 45, and he's brought down around the 42-yard line. A quick pickup of 3 here on first down, and you'd probably think you're going to see a lot of the running game here from Spanish Fork to try to let the final 12 minutes go.
Yes, you'll probably see a lot of running going on here in the, and you know, and if you're Payson, you might want to just consider running just to get the season over with. It's been a long season. It's been a long time since they played Ogden and beat them 21-14, and they've lost a lot of these games by 30, 40 points this season.
So we're going to have a 2nd down and 7 coming up. Ringer from shotgun. He's going to roll out. He's going to look to maybe go down the field. He's going to look for the deep ball. That one's incomplete. Going downfield for Colt Condi, number 6. We saw Condi quite a bit at corner earlier in the season, and it's kind of seen him now sporadically on both the wide receiver and defensive back spots, but it brings up a 3rd and 7 for Spanish Fork.
Yeah, and Colt Condi, he's just a junior, so he's going to be back next year. So, you know, I'm sure they want to get him a little bit in at that wide receiver spot in case they want to use him, playing on both offense and defense. But he's played very well, like you mentioned, in the secondary for the Dons this season.
He's got some wheels as well. 3rd down and 7. Big conversion coming here for Spanish Fork to try to keep this momentum going. 4 wide receivers on the play. Tuita, the back, now moves to the left of Brooks Ringer. Here's the give. Tuita trying to get the marker. He's going to come up short, brought down around the 39-yard line. So we'll see here maybe in no man's land. I would think probably a punt, though, coming, but it doesn't look like it now. The punting unit's going to come on with Way Stanton.
And that's just good sportsmanship. You got a 33-point lead. You have nothing to prove in this ball game. You might as well just punt and take some time off the clock here.
So the ball sits on the 39-yard line. Way Stanton, the deep man, standing at his own 46-yard line. A lot of distance there. Here comes the punt, and a nice kind of punt over towards the sideline. It's going to bounce it around the 10. It's going to take a Spanish Fork roll, and then a Payson bounce, and then it gets down at around the 8-yard line. So with 10:28 to go in the 4th quarter, 41-8 Spanish Fork. The Payson Lions try to see if they can't maybe finish their season here with 12 final minutes of playing hard to the end.
Right, and if you're Payson, you know, just play to get a score or two, make this thing look a little closer than it was. So there's still a lot of, you know, pride on the line in this ball game. So I'm curious to see if they're able to take advantage of these new faces on defense, as we see a lot of new guys out there for Spanish Fork, which is great for them to get that experience.
A lot of new guys, so we might have to pull out our rosters again for Spanish Fork. As Buck Frazier gets ready to go from the shotgun, he's going to roll out and take it down the sideline. He's going to get it actually out to Sorensen, number 9. And Sorensen able to get a head out across the 25-yard line. A nice gain there on 1st down for Payson.
Yeah, and brought down by Braden Harian for Spanish Fork that time. Is, like we said, we got a lot of new faces out there. That's exciting for them to get out in this blowout victory and be a part of the victory tonight.
So 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line for Payson. The Lions able to try to see here as, Chris, we have a nice wide open view of the game from where we're at now as the Payson Lions head over to the sideline. Here's Bryson Tanner. He's going to go ahead. He's going to have a 1st down and more into the secondary, brought down around the 38-yard line. 1st down once again. And right now the Spanish Fork defense needs to tighten up a little bit.
And that's the theme. You expect a little bit of a drop-off when you put in some of these backups, but at the same time, you got to tell these guys, you know, it's still the same plays. You got to show that you deserve to play. So we'll see if they can ratchet up the intensity a little bit.
They do have, it looks like they're rotating a lot of starters still in there. Mace Funa, Jess Barkley still in there. Ball sits on the 37-yard line. Frazier from shotgun. Here's the give right up the middle to Bryson Tanner. He's going to hit a brick wall right up the middle. And he's gonna lose maybe a yard, bring up a 2nd and 11.
And that's a good term, brick wall, you brought up there, because that's what has been the middle of Spanish Fork's defense. Payson has not been able to run up the middle at all, and credit the defensive linemen there and the middle linebackers for just creating a wall that cannot be penetrated.
2nd down and about, it looks like they're gonna, it looks like to me you got about a half a yard, but they're gonna still have 10 up on the scoreboard here. So 2nd and 10 here, under 9 minutes to go here at Payson. Frazier from shotgun once again. He's got 1, maybe 2 wide receivers on the play. And here's the pitch outside. Trying to get it as, that was not the typical back. That was not Bryson Tanner on the carry. That was Sorensen, number 9. And Sorensen able to get a yard or 2. That brings up a 3rd down.
And it looks like we got another penalty on Spanish Fork that'll give them a 1st down here. I didn't see the call. Did you?
Face mask.
Face mask.
At least that's what they said on the PA system here at Payson tonight. So that's going to give Payson an automatic 1st down. We'll see maybe if we can catch it here on the Car Guys Instant Replay. I didn't see it, but
could have happened earlier in the drive, or in the play too as well.
So that's going to move the ball now to the Spanish Fork 38-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Lions, trying to drive, end their season on a high note. Shotgun set for Frazier. He's ready to go. He's going to give it right up the middle. Frazier keeps it, and he's going to go down back at the 40-yard line. A great job, great penetration there, number 60.
That's Jax Tobiasen with the tackle. He's the center on the basketball team as well.
Getting in there to make the stop.
At least I believe that's him. He also wears 88.
That would, I mean, that would assume, seems right to me. That looks like 6'7" to me.
Right.
Tobiasen will be a big force for that Spanish Fork basketball team. It's going to be another good basketball year, I think, in the city of Spanish Fork. Maple Mountain bringing back quite a bit off their team from last year. Spanish Fork's always good. Those would be a couple of good games coming up in the basketball season. That pass looks like it's going to be incomplete as it skipped the dirt. It kind of just hit the ground. It's going to be 3rd down and 13.
Yeah, the problem with the Spanish Fork's basketball team is they lost a lot of talent last year. They had 7, 8 seniors, but, you know, Tanner Argyle will have to step up his game for Spanish Fork, and Jax Tobiasen as well.
It's going to be a fun. I mean, having that little segment at halftime talking about basketball season got me pretty excited. It's going to be a fun year in Region 8. There's a lot of good teams.
Yeah, it should be exciting, and Maple Mountain won it all last year, and you covered them, Ryan. The one game I saw them play, they looked very athletic.
3rd down and 13. They're going to take a shot deep down the sideline, looking for number 3. That one incomplete. As at the last second, they're running step for step was Jorgen Olsen, number 1, and that pass there, Olsen maybe extended his arm a little bit there at the end, but pass was, I don't think,
clearly
catchable.
over his head. I just noticed something on the referees. Did you notice what color their whistles are tonight?
I haven't. I'm going to say pink, though.
They are pink. It's pretty cool for breast cancer awareness.
We've seen a lot of players tonight, including some for Payson tonight, wearing pink socks. We've seen that throughout the month of October. And now it's going to bring up 4th and 13, and looks like the Lions are going to sit back and punt. Way Stanton back at his own 18-yard line. Mortensen gets a foot into it. This one's going to come over by us here. No, that's in the middle of the field. And Way Stanton's going to catch it on the run. He gets to the 35-yard line. He's pushed out of bounds around the 37-yard line. And with 7:23 to go, the Dons maybe will run a 7-minute offense here and get on the bus and head back to Spanish Fork with a victory.
Yeah, maybe I can start warming up my car here in a minute as it's starting to lose feeling in my toes. No, I'm fine. Looks curious to see who we have in at quarterback.
So we'll see here who the Dons. It's going to be number 4, Carson Chappell, coming in the ball game.
Carson Chappell's a super good kid. Lives next door to me and used to walk my daughter, who's 5 years younger, to elementary school every day.
So here's the give outside. Duncan Williams on the carry, number 32. He's going to get maybe a yard or two here out to around the 38-yard line. So pick up a 1, brings up a 2nd and 9. And I mean, those are the stories you like to hear. I mean, you think of it even in a high school world, these are big athletes here. These are guys who are known throughout the city, and it's good to know that they're not just known for what happens on Friday night, but that they are great people off the field as well.
Right, yeah, and I'm sure there's plenty of other examples out there on this Spanish Fork team, but looks like we're going to see a lot of running here for Spanish Fork as Duncan Williams is in the game.
Chappell from shotgun. He's going to give it to Duncan Williams again. Williams is going to go ahead. He's going to this time get out across the 45-yard line. That's going to be pretty close to another 1st down for the Dons here. And that clock will just continue to move here as Spanish Fork continuing to sub guys in and out here. Leo Saili will head over to the sideline here.
Yeah, and you know, I imagine we won't see too many timeouts and the clock will just continue to churn here. But if you're Spanish Fork, if you can run the ball down Payson's throat one more time and get a touchdown here, that would be a huge confidence boost to these backup offensive linemen, backup running backs that are in this game.
Chappell looks over to the sideline, now comes back here in the pistol, pitches it outside. Duncan Williams trying to turn the corner. He's got some wheels. He does get the corner. He's going to be inside Lion territory to around the 45-yard line. 1st down for Spanish Fork.
Fresh set of downs. That should run at least another minute or 2 off the clock here as Spanish Fork's counting down the time to this victory, and they'll end up going 3-3 in region play. But you know, it felt like they had a shot to win this region, as like we mentioned, they just barely lost to Springville by a safety and Maple Mountain as well. And they had a chance to win that Maple Mountain game at the end.
And you really look at it, if there was maybe those scheduled games were maybe a little bit scheduled differently or something like that, Duncan Williams ahead for maybe a yard or two, maybe at that point, if you think of maybe you have Uinta earlier on in the season and then have Springville later, I mean, maybe that changes things. I mean, maybe not, though. I mean, there could be a proponent to saying that having Maple Mountain and Springville and Salem Hills your first 3 weeks of the region really did help you throughout your season. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't think you can come up with excuses as to this team finishing 3-3, but the fact was there's a couple of plays where they just couldn't make, and that really was the difference between being maybe 5-1 in region and, being 3-3.
Yeah, and I think that just shows you the parity in this region this season as well.
Duncan Williams on the carry now. He's going to break a couple of tackles and get down to about the 40-yard line, picks up another 3, breaks up a third and about 5. Chris, do you have some favorite moments that you saw this year? I mean, obviously, the season's not over. We don't want to make it sound like it, but the regular season is over. We're kind of ending a chapter of the season. Were there some favorite moments that you had looking back?
Well, I think that, I know it was a loss, but that game we did against Springville where it was just so competitive. There was so much energy. I hadn't seen that many people at a high school football game before. Just that atmosphere was amazing. That was, one thing that I really enjoyed. It seemed like we covered Maple Mountain football, but it seemed like the Spanish Fork crowd really turned out that night, and it was just an amazing atmosphere. Even in a losing effort, I was very impressed.
Chop block indicated against the Dons after Duncan Williams gets the first down. That's going to bring up, that'll make it 3rd and really long again. I mean, Chris, and the atmosphere of that game and then leading into Maple Mountain. And I mean, everything with that crosstown rivalry, with the way Maple Mountain season was going, it looked like they were going to be right there for the region championship, and they were. I mean, Maple Mountain was a good team. You could just kind of feel that was leading off, once again, a continuation of the baseball season and the basketball season with those great performances in games.
And the other cool thing was the Salem Hills game when we went out there to Salem Hills, and there was Senator Hatch there.
Duncan Williams is going to get hit around the line of scrimmage. He's going to be well short of the first down. That's going to bring up 4th down with about 4:09 to go, and probably a punting situation to give the ball back to Payson. Yeah, I mean, that was another fun game, and not just that was one of those moments. I think one of my favorite moments this year was the moments where, while football was important, Spanish Fork took time to realize there's other important things as well. That game with Salem Hills, understanding the patriotism in the country, and then the other one was the blackout game a couple of weeks ago. I mean, there were moments this year where we had an opportunity to understand football is important, but there's other things more important in life as well.
I think Coach Jordan Christensen wants this Spanish Fort Dons team to understand that, yeah, we work hard, we practice hard. You got to do well at school, do your homework, those type of things. But also, there's more. There is other important things in life too, and I think he did a great job with that game against Alta and the blackout.
So the punt there by Way Stanton goes back inside to right around the 20-yard line or so. So the Payson Lions, with 3:36 to go, could have their final possession of the season here, as Buck Frazier will be from shotgun with 4 wide receivers. An opportunity for the Lions to end their season on a positive note. Frazier from shotgun. He's going to throw the screen pass out to the side. Here's Josh Sorensen. That looked like a block in the back, but Sorensen breaks the tackle, and then he gets about a yard or so. I don't know, maybe the Spanish Fork Don kind of turned into that block, but it kind of looked like there was a block in the back on the play.
And Tuate, we've talked a lot about him playing on the offensive side, but he came up with a big defensive play that time. I'm not sure what position he's playing, cornerback or safety, it looks.
So 2nd and 10 coming up after no gain for the Payson Lions. Each team with 3 timeouts, but I wouldn't think at this point that either coach will really look to use any of those timeouts here, as the Lions will come out with 4 wide receivers, 3 to the very top of your screen. Frazier from shotgun. Going to set up the screen pass. Here's another double pass. They're going to throw it back to Frazier. He makes the play at the 20-yard line. Gets around one at the 25 to the 30-yard line, down the sideline. He's going to get hit hard at around the 40-yard line. Coming out to make the stop was number 34. That's Garrett Heinzen there to make this tackle, and there's a couple of flags sitting there right around the marker.
I want to know what was said, because I didn't think that was necessarily a late hit, but there was 2 flags. Maybe it was a hit to the head that time, but you don't want to see that at the end of this game, where it's both teams for the most part have had pretty good sportsmanship.
right there as we see. We'll see on the Car Guys instant replay here if we can see what that penalty. I mean, a good play there, just kind of the double pass, kind of a look there. We'll see right at the end is where you're going to see those flags come in. We'll see if we can slow it down right. Okay, well, that works too. And yeah, it looks like maybe that, and then maybe just kind of standing over him. I don't know what Reinson said there, but
good hit by Reinson. He's a junior. You know, you make mistakes, and now's a good time to make a mistake and have a learning opportunity when they watch the film either tomorrow or Saturday.
Frazier from shotgun, 3 receivers to the top. He's going to be pressured immediately, runs away from Saili. Frazier looking down the field, one-on-one coverage, looking for Mortensen, who goes up and makes the catch, just kind of basketball style, just kind of pins up against Jorgen Olsen there, and coming down with it was Mortensen with his foot right inside the marker.
I was watching his feet to see if he kept him in bounds, and he was clearly in bounds on that catch, and that was a good throw that time by Frazier.
So it's going to be first down with 2:26 to go.
Stuff's blowing all over now. I don't know if you can hear the wind on our mics, but it's been blowing pretty good here in the second half.
Supposed to be, I think, more rain this weekend and that coming into the area. I'm just glad we haven't felt maybe a couple of drops here and there tonight, but not very many. Frazier looking to go to the end zone. He's got a man, touchdown, that's Sorensen. And a good opportunity there for the Payson Lions to end their season on a positive note, as it's Frazier to Sorensen for the score.
Yeah, and if you're a senior, that's a good way to go out. I know you're going to lose big time here to Spanish Fork, but you know, you get that final drive for Sorensen. That might be, he's a senior. That might, you know, that'll be probably the last time he catches the ball in the end zone at any competitive level of tackle football.
Here comes the extra point here for the Lions. The kick is up. It's kind of a knuckleball kick, and it's no good. And with 2:22 to go in the fourth quarter, Spanish Fork 41, Payson 14. But I mean, Chris, really, I mean, Buck Frazier comes back next year for Payson. I'm sure they still have some improvement to go, obviously shown by this score and some of their other scores in their games. Buck Frazier, though, can throw the ball. He can throw it well.
He can throw it well. He needs to get a line that can give him a little more time, and he needs a running game to help, because as a quarterback, you can't do it all by yourself, and it seems like at times that's what he's had to do tonight, where he's had to scramble out to make the pass. But he seems like he has a pretty good arm, and you know, with the summer camps and some of that stuff, he'll only get better.
And that's definitely something. I mean, and we saw this a couple of times last year. We saw this with the Provo team last year, where we're like, hey, they're showing glimpses of greatness. Provo's going to be a playoff team in Region 7. Maybe I believe there might be even the #2 seed coming out of Region 7. And I mean, it's just one of those things. Time and development, especially at the high school level. And it's not just getting the right, it's not like these guys can go recruit like you can at the college level or go sign free agents in the NFL. You have to build what you have, and you really have to start that foundation from the time they're young.
Yeah, and like you said, Provo turned that thing around in a hurry. I believe they'd only won 3 games in 4 years coming into this season, and they've been competitive in about every game they played, except for maybe the Timpview game, where Timpview got, I believe, beat them 35-7.
So 2:22 to go. We'll see if Payson maybe goes to the onside kick. I wouldn't think so, but you never know here. Leo Saili, the deep man, standing back at his own 10-yard line. Here comes the kick, and they're going to kick it deep. Saili's going to take it from about the 5-yard line. He broke one earlier in the ball game. Gets across the 25 to the 30, and he's going to stay on his feet, still across the 35, breaking tackles, and finally a whole group of Lions and Dons are going to get in on the mix to bring him down, but out across once again to around the 40-yard line with 2:09 to go in the fourth. Probably an opportunity here for Carson Chappell to come in and just hand the ball off and get this one to 000.
Yeah, get it to 000, and then, you know, you're almost to the point where you could about take a knee here if you can get a first down. Get in that victory formation and head on home to Spanish Fork with another victory this season.
Next week, the state playoffs begin. That will be a Friday night game. I want to say it's even going to be an earlier. I don't want to say it's a 7 o'clock. I want to say it's like a 5 o'clock kick.
I believe it will be a 5 o'clock kick at East High School. They start the games at 5 on Fridays and usually about 1 on Saturdays if tradition holds up.
Carson Chappell from shotgun. They're going to give it to Duncan Williams on the sweep. Williams cuts back in, and he's going to be brought down. He's going to gain to maybe get back to the line of scrimmage on second look. and that will let that clock continue to run. So it's going to be it's going to be an early kick at East High next week, and should be a fun one.
And East has had a great program the last few years. This year they were, going to win at least a piece of Region 5, probably outright depending on the result of their game this week. And it, it'll be a great test for Spanish Fort to see if they belong in the state playoffs.
2nd and 9 for Carson Chapel. He's going to pitch it outside. Here's Duncan Williams trying to get to the edge. Don't want to go out of bounds there, but he will, and that's going to be pretty close to a first down. He got it right around the 48-yard line. So probably bring up around a 3rd and maybe 1 coming up.
And a first down will do it here for Spanish Fork, as unfortunately got out of bounds, so that kept the clock stopped.
So it's going to be a 3rd and, yeah, it looks like about 1, maybe 1.5.
During the post game, we'll be doing some aerobic exercises for the viewers at home.
It won't be just you're going to get exercise with Ryan and Chris tonight. Here's the give. Carson Chapel on the keeper, and he is going to be brought down. That will keep the clock running here with 1:14 to go, but bring up 4th down. And I would think here as Chapel will head over to the sidelines, I would think we would probably see Way Stanton come back into punt.
It looks like they're not bringing Stanton out. They're going to go ahead and keep the Chapel in the game here to see if they can't pick up the first down here.
If not, Payson will get the football back. Under a minute to go in the regular season for the Spanish Fork Dons. It will end, I should say, on a high note as they head into the state playoffs. Here's Duncan Williams trying to get outside, turn the corner, needs the 50. He'll get the first down. And now I believe they'll just have to take one snap, probably in the victory formation, and they will head to Spanish Fork back in that number 4 spot for Region 8. And it will be a fun one for the Spanish Fork Dons.
Right, and they'll end the season at 3-3 in region play, and also bring their overall record to 5. To 5-5 on the season. So, they're a couple plays away from. They missed 3 extra points against Orem. That was the difference in that game. I mean, they're literally just 3 plays away from being 8-2 in this season.
Apui in there, he takes a knee here, and now that clock will run. They're going to get ready to shake hands here, it looks like. Spanish Fork is celebrating. They are heading to the state playoffs as the number 4 seed out of Region 8 as the final seconds tick down on the clock, and the Dons are going to keep their season alive. They'll move in to the 4 spot out of Region 8 as the clock hits triple zeros. The Payson Lions played hard and ended the season on a high note, and that's definitely something there to take a look at. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to wrap this one up here from Payson. We'll have the MVP Sports MVP of the game and everything coming up here on Spanish Fork 17. You're watching high school football here on Spanish Fork 17.
Sports.
In Spanish Fork, see your good neighbor State Farm agent Lance Wilson for your insurance and financial needs.
Hi, welcome to 2 Jack's Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to 2 Jack's Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet? Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork. You know Triple T Heating and Cooling, but did you know that Triple T does plumbing? From tankless hot water, soft water, and reverse osmosis drinking water systems, right down to that leaky faucet. Triple T sure does plumbing. Call Triple T at 801-798-7711 today. MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Back to high school football here on Spanish Fork 17. The Spanish Fork Dons kind of congregating over by their sidelines there. You can see all the white jerseys of Spanish Fork. It's a 41-14 victory over the Payson Lions here on the Payson Lions senior night. But most importantly, Chris, Spanish Fork now They came into tonight controlling their own destiny, and that's exactly what you want. You don't want to be sitting around at home watching scores going, okay, we need this team to win, this team to win, this team to lose. You have a chance to control your own destiny. That's exactly what Spanish Fork did tonight.
They took care of business. They got that 4th spot in Region 8. They get the chance to play a big boy in East High School next week. We'll have that game covered for you unless KJazz or somebody picks that up, and it'll be an amazing challenge for Spanish Fork. But you know, they've been so close in some of these games that I think an upset's not completely out of the question, but they will have to play their A game and they will have to limit their penalties.
And there's no doubt tonight, and really throughout the season, times where this Spanish Fork team, you just kind of look at it and you go, they're really on the crisp of being really good, what Jordan Smith has done here in the program he inherited. But then you see it at other times and you're just like, they play a little bit undisciplined, and it seems like the undisciplined storm comes all at once.
It does, and we've seen tonight where back-to-back penalties occurred on multiple occasions, and that just puts you in a down and distance that's not going to let you, succeed. You can do it every once in a while where you getting 2nd and 30 and you're able to pick up the first down. But if you start doing that multiple times, it puts way too much pressure on your offense.
It's definitely going to be an interesting week, because when you talk about it now, one thing Spanish Fork has that maybe a lot of other teams throughout the state of Utah at the 4A classification, they played on Thursday night. So now you have a full calendar week to prepare for East, and the good thing is you have a very good feeling it's going to be East that they're going to play. Not officially yet, because potentially there could still be a tie break, but they have the tiebreaker with Highland right now, so most likely going to be East.
Yeah, and I'm looking down here. East is 4-0, Highland's 3-1, so I don't think it matters even if East wins and Highland wins this week, they'd have that tiebreaker and would get that #1 seed, which, I think it'll be an exciting opportunity for Spanish Fork to, see if these seniors can't pull off that upset against East, because East is going to be highly ranked in the 4A classification. Obviously, Timpview will most likely be the favorite, and Springville will also be highly ranked in this state playoffs.
It's going to be very interesting as these state playoffs begin. Region 8 did very well last year. The only team to lose on that opening weekend was Maple Mountain to Woods Cross, but now a very big situation. You talked about this game tonight, Chris, and it would have been very easy to come in if you're Spanish Fork and understand, hey, we're playing a team of 1-8. We're bigger, we're faster, we're stronger. We can probably score enough points to beat Payson. But it's another thing to get out on the field against a team that's playing with a chip on their shoulder, and you still have to be able to stand in there and prove yourself.
Right, and they did that. Payson gave them quite the battle. Payson had some tricks up their sleeves, and they got that fake punt to succeed. They didn't get it the second time. Spanish Fork was ready for it. But to your point, yeah, Spanish Fork did not overlook Payson, and it was a well-contested, chippy game, as we got all sorts of kids around us too.
So it's definitely been an exciting night here at Payson High School. We have the MVP Sports MVP of the game to give out, Chris, and there's definitely a lot of different guys we could have gone with tonight for Spanish Fork, but when you take a look at some of the games, and Brooks Ringer is the backup quarterback a couple of weeks ago, asked to step in when Nate Kiesel was out hurt. He steps in and that you win a game, does a great job. Tonight gets more reps, steps in. We saw him make some electric plays tonight.
Right, he started this game out right as he came out with his 10-yard touchdown run, but he was a nice change of pace from Nate Kiesel, and I think it worked very well using both quarterbacks tonight, and that's the big reason Spanish Fork comes out on top 41-14 tonight.
So definitely exciting one here tonight from Payson High School. You can catch replays of this game and our many other broadcasts on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/SpanishFork17. As for our entire Spanish Fork Community Network team here at Payson High School, for my partner Chris Hurst, I'm Ryan Pickens signing off until next week when we come to you most likely from East High when the Spanish Fork Dons head on to take on the East High Leopards. You've been watching high school football here on Spanish Fork 17. Spanish Fork gets the victory 41-14 tonight.